Charlotte McCoy. I'm the attorney for the developer, Daily Homes. I've got with me here tonight Jimmy Ball with Daily Homes, and in the back we've got our engineer with Vision, Mark McCain, and we've got Jeremy Young from LFUCG Planning here to help answer any questions anybody's got about process. As you know, this is about a zone change at 2914 Clays Mill Road. That Daily Homes is looking to do a townhouse development on that lot and looking at a zone change to an R2. Jimmy's here. Really what we want to accomplish tonight is to give y'all some more information about the project and the process, to answer your questions and to get your feedback. And with that, I think I will let Jimmy take over and kind of tell you a little bit about Daily Homes and the project.
Hello, I'm Jimmy Ball. I'm essentially a lifelong resident of Lexington. Moved here in 1958. One of the things that appealed to me about this site was one of the first places I helped my father and uncle build homes right over here on Cecil Lake. Like in the late 50s. When I say help, I was 5. I'd carry a hammer or something, mainly try to be out of the way. That was Don Ball and Jim Ball homes. And so I'm a second generation home builder. And where I'm a local builder and a neighbor, I value your input on this site, because a lot of people, I went to Little Picket Dome. I don't know if y'all remember Little Picket Dome was like a mansion with the white columns in the front. Any of y'all go that far back? Where's Little Picket Dome now? Then went to James Lane Allen, Beaumont. That's first class through Beaumont. Lafayette, graduated in 71. Started building when I was actually on my own some in 1974, which is 51 years ago. I'm losing my memory. But we built several homes around it. I built homes in Robinwood. We developed Stone Creek. We built in Open Gates, or I did. We developed Palomar Hills, Copperfield, as I say, Stone Creek. Those are just some of the neighborhoods here local. And we probably built half the homes in Palomar and maybe a third of them in Copperfield. Stone Creek, we probably built a third. This site is going to be, started out more units. We didn't try to do apartments. We didn't want to do apartments. And we lowered the density. We were hoping to get about 50 units. And then it dropped down to 41 because in talking with some of the neighbors and with the staff, some of the neighbors didn't want us to take all of our traffic. We were going to put a cul-de-sac up here. Didn't want all of our traffic to go through Loretta. So we reacted to that, and the staff wanted to. We put an entrance to Clays Mill Road. These townhomes will probably sell in the low 4s to mid 4s, 400,000. And sir, hopefully that's other than telling you I was drag racing on this circle road before it was built.
So I think there's some renderings of
there's
the
a
ones
rendering
that
right
are
here.
planned, and I think you said they were going to be about 1,800 square feet.
About 1,800 square feet, 1 car garage, but all will have backyards. So there'll be a lot of grass.
How much grass out from the street?
30 feet, 30 feet setback.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Can't remember what the setback is. 30 feet, the backyards have about 20 feet, and the backyards have about 38, 40 feet. which is really nice for a townhome.
How many units?
41,
41 units.
41.
And where does it run from? Clay's Mill to back where? What's the other street that it's gonna back?
You know where Loretta Drive is? You know where Loretta is?
Oh,
Yes, we know where Loretta is.
Okay, well, Loretta,
From the street to that.
it'll tie into Loretta right here, and then we, at this speed, all our traffic go through Placerville. I don't see why they would wanna go through Loretta to get out.
I live on Loretta Drive, right next door to the property.
Okay, did I talk to you?
I don't think so.
Because there's one of the neighbors I thought, oh, I don't like, you know, it's go through, so that's what. Did I talk to you? That's all of us on Friday.
Loretta Drive will not have that much traffic, I can tell you that.
Well, there won't be, not because of us. I'm sorry, I can't hear, one at a time.
I'm Molly, I'm the president of the Open Gates Neighborhood Association, and we've kind of discussed this. And some points that I've been asked to make or questions to ask, the exit onto Clay's Mill, is that going to be right turn only?
Oh, be both ways.
you gonna have a stoplight there?
No,
No stoplight and you get nowhere on Clay's
That's
Mill?
right, you can't get up on Cecil.
No stoplights nowhere between, Cecil Way and where you talking about it?
no,
I mean, not Cecil Way, yeah, that is Cecil
No
Way.
stop.
No stoplight.
So our concern is the amount of cars that are now gonna have to share trying to get out. And we as residents off Cecil Way to Ashley, we're 5 or 10 cars
right.
trying to get out
And it's
In
only
the
one
mornings.
way in, one way out,
in the afternoon.
right there.
Coming here tonight, I was 6 cars back, waiting to just turn out.
Mm.
And it's gonna increase with potentially 80 more cars coming out from this area. 2 cars per household, sometimes more when you're raising kids. So that's a big concern of ours.
Right, so as traffic is a concern, is there going to be guest parking or,
Guest parking.
and so where will that be?
It'd be the driveway for the big car. You be, the garage, of course, point in, you got the driveway here. So we have the guest parking.
But why can't they put a stoplight up? Is that, against?
I have, Jerry can answer that question here.
Yeah, it's really up to the city
It's up to the city.
and
We don't have it.
the city traffic department.
Oh, because that would help tremendously.
Yeah, it's not something we can do independently.
I got it.
Oh, how you doing?
Okay, has the city approved this as street, or is this what you're proposing?
This is what we're proposing. That's why we're here.
Okay, then the city has not agreed to give this new development access on Place Mill. That's just what you're wishing for.
That's right. Is that right, Jerry?
Yes, nothing has been approved yet, so this is still in development.
This is planning stage.
Well, how about the development? Has that been approved yet?
Nothing's been approved.
Oh, nothing.
Nothing.
Okay.
So if the city says no to coming out onto Place Mill, then the only other option is coming out on Loretta, right?
Yep.
And that's a nightmare.
So that would be, there's 80, at least 80 cars coming down what's technically a one-lane road because everybody parks on both sides of the street because they're one-car garages, one-car driveways, and you get 80 cars plus those houses that are right there on Loretta trying to get out, to go to work, go to school, come back
The
from
simple
work.
fact, when you have a fire truck or EMS or garbage truck, they have to back out.
And you're doing nothing to help our neighborhood. I don't care how expensive these houses are and how much increase our value will be. If our lives are gonna be in the crap because we can't get out of our subdivisions. Right now, I am like, who was saying they couldn't get out onto Place Mill? And more times than not, I make 4 right turns to get back to Stone Road to come and make a left turn onto Place Mill.
Same,
Now, where's that high quality of life?
same.
And it already is dangerous.
It
The
is.
turns there are very dangerous as it is.
And you cannot see, I'm sorry, I don't want to offend somebody, but there's a fence there, and you pull out onto Cecil, and you try to see who's coming.
That's right.
You can't see.
You can't see.
And I don't know how many times I've seen close accidents. Scary.
I've had an accident right there. I've
Yes,
had an accident.
scary close.
My dad had an accident there, actually trying to turn left on his,
So,
And 80 more cars is not going to have a good quality of life for anybody, not even your new homeowners. No, they're gonna hate it.
so, and so the biggest concern then is not only the development that you're bringing in more people, the housing, yeah, everybody probably would love that, you know, you looking at that as beautiful, but the congestion is a nightmare when you're coming in and out, and we already having a nightmare. And that's why, I know you say the engineers here, so I hope engineers is hoping, while we're talking about this, that stoplight is very important to you guys, the builders. Because with the stoplight, a lot of the headaches go away. But without the stoplight, it's impossible. It's impossible.
Yes, Bill?
As an original owner in Ridgeview Estates from December of 1979, we were the first ones back there. At that time, Neil Drive was supposed to open up and we were supposed to have a back way out. That got closed off. So we do not have a back way out at all.
That's because the city told me that it's not important enough and the traffic's not bad enough for us to make that work.
That's not, listen, I lived through it. I know.
My
the
backyard
stress.
splits Neil Drive.
Well, anyway, as I understand it, the fire department goes to the city council and tells them, we don't want any more subdivisions that don't have a back way out. It is not safe. So, I'm worried about, traffic
But-
and getting out of our neighborhoods.
But there's no way out but the one over here too.
No.
Isn't it?
No, they are
Is this only
locked
one
in
in
back there
there?
one way out.
Correct,
Same way.
correct.
We're not.
So,
Have you already bought the land, Mr. Ball?
And
Yes,
there's
we are.
one lots in
And
our
that
city.
issue is due to your mayors, not to these gentlemen.
No, I know who it was, I
I think the other thing is even if there is a street that's approved out of this area, it still adds potentially 80 cars turning right or left. And it is very true that it is extremely hard for us to see coming out of Cecil to turn left. So even if there is another exit and they're not coming across Loretta, it adds to the density of cars on a street that is now a raceway.
Yeah, since they widened it, they come flying down there.
yes,
Yes, I have a question. So on your map here, you have the construction road, the main road that comes in. However, in your general notes on number 10, it says that that construction road would be closed. So that means Loretta would be the only way in and out because that's the only road that comes into your place. It says on number 10, on the general notes section, it does say that construction road would be closed off of Lakeville. So that means Loretta would be the only way out. So you're no safety thing about one in, one out. Yes, but if that road closes on Lakeville.
Can you speak to that note, Mark?
I think what you're talking about is the construction access.
Right.
That's just for construction. When this road is built, it will function as a normal road does. And I hear what you're saying about the traffic, but the reality is, it's gonna give another way out. If you live back here, now you've got another option to get out, instead of the one way that you have to get out now.
Your note here says dwelling unit. It says that will be closed and a dwelling unit will be put there. Is what that note says.
That's probably a carryover note.
Access will be removed at the time of certificate of occupancy.
I know what that is now. It's a carryover note from Pasadena Drive, yeah. But we'll fix that, and this is not, it's not at final stages, we still have, you
Well,
know.
that's why we're here too, is.
That's right.
Yeah, and I appreciate
Yeah,
you, listen, I appreciate you letting me know that.
That's a mistake, that note shouldn't be there.
And is there some kind of restriction to how many residents can be put on 2.5 acres? Is there no restriction for that?
I'm not sure what the density,
It's 2.5 acres, right?
The different zoning regulations, so different zoning classifications, more or less control the size or structure or setback. And so how many units you can fit in that area sort of dictates how many units you can have. So it's not a hard number.
So because of the design of these, it allows him to get more of those type of properties on this property.
well, there is a density, there's a max density.
And
But we are within the tolerance of the zoning ordinance.
Because of the style of the property.
Because of the zone.
I'm gonna ask you all a question. And I know I can be a rebel rouser a little bit, but I have lived in that property for over 40 years. And I want an honest to God answer because we are in a church building. Now you see all of my neighbors, and this is not even all of them.
No, because they didn't notify everybody.
And I want to know what you're doing to all of us.
Yes.
I want to know, would you live in my house?
Where do
Would
you
you
live?
live in their house? Would you live in Roy and Louise's house? Knowing what you're putting us through in our houses. And I want an honest to God answer. Because what I am seeing here is nothing but pure greed.
That's what I see.
I want an answer. I don't want a shaking of heads. Jimmy, I talked to you.
Yes, I would move it, I would don't find moving your house because I don't know where you live. But if it's a home I like, the area would not bother me. That's the truth.
Even if
Actually,
it's traffic.
where I live right now, they're starting 80 apartments right behind me. And that's just part of it, I don't, you know.
But what about this? Who is this benefiting? Who is
Yes,
this
who gets all
benefiting?
the money bucks?
It's not benefiting us.
What
It's
the
benefiting you.
benefits is, this is an infill project, and what happens is, the city is encouraging builders and developers to build within the urban service boundary area,
build
so they don't have to
nice
expand it.
homes.
So build a new house.
Build.
Yeah.
Build two houses.
Are you saying that the city is encouraging this project? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
They encourage
That's
infill.
not PCG rep here. First of all, that's informational, right? So what is the next step to actually get something changed? It looks like we've got a lot of issues. There's the throughway on a road that currently isn't a road that affects everybody on the Cecil side of things. You got the added traffic on the other side. And this is for everybody's information, and I'm glad this is finally getting in front of the neighborhood. But what's the reality of the next steps?
So we are at essentially preliminary stages. Nothing has been approved.
Except all the trees that they cut down.
It is, back to number one, is the city encouraging this development?
We just respond to applications. We don't encourage.
This city denies it. I got a question for you, Jimmy. You sit here and you told us all about building all these homes around here and everything. What made you all decide to make this property multi-units, to put 50 units that you were looking for? Why there?
The cost of land is so high in Lexington. And,
But you spent $1 million.
you can't build just two $500,000 lots for people, you know, or $2 or $3 million homes right there.
You could though. You could build less
I
homes.
mean, there's some right there, right on the other side of Needles.
Yeah.
Well, you have the ones on Pasadena that they took 5 lots and built $1 million homes. I mean, what would be wrong with the benefit of building, you know, you got what, 3 point something acres? So if you divide it into 3/4 of an acre, I mean, you can build 5 or 6 homes up in there at $1 million.
But that's
Just
not
afraid
money.
that the, go ahead.
Have you already bought the property?
Yes, we've already bought it.
Paid for it?
Okay. You all talk about capacity. What zone do you want to go from? From single family to what?
R2.
What is the residential density of an R2?
How many?
There is no residential density like that.
There is no density.
It's a form base, so R2 regulates setbacks, it regulates height, it regulates the dimensions of what you can build there. So there is no density per acre.
So back to mine, what is the procedure?
So the procedure is, the first step is to go to technical review committee. It has gone to technical review committee, they have, identified some issues that we're concerned about.
Can we find out what those issues are? Is that information public?
So the meeting has actually been taped, it's on the LPCG website, so you can watch that meeting.
Okay, the meeting's online.
Yes, and so it's gone through technical review committee, and it's gone through, the preliminary, subcommittee. So the zoning subcommittee has voted to postpone it because there are questions about the sinkhole area. There's a potential area of sinkholes where Beaver plays mill.
Okay.
That's the question.
We can,
They have recommended postponement. It has gone to the board of planning commission, that will happen, a week from today on the.
No, it's actually, we're going to postpone it, it'll be probably heard in January.
So it's not gonna be a meeting on the 20th?
No.
There will be a meeting.
I'm glad that
I'll be there.
So let me, can I ask?
I believe government
Okay.
speak.
Is that, they take core samples? Is that what they're gonna do to figure
Yes, sir.
out what's going on?
So there'll be a geotechnical report, and I'm not an engineer, so I'm not gonna pretend to know exactly what they do. But they do, they'll map the area of sinkhole and determine the severity.
After it gets kicked out of that with a go or no go, what's the
Ju-
next
ju-
thing?
Rezoning.
So, depending on what the result of that test are, we'll certainly determine how many units.
Let me ask you a question.
She's got an
I was
answer
gonna
here.
say, Jeremy,
Yes,
I think I can clarify a little bit
Please.
about the timing of the meeting on the 20th and the geotech study. We found out this morning it's gonna take a little longer to get the geotech study, and we found out this morning, it's gonna take longer to get the geotech study than we had originally hoped. So, and I'll let the engineers speak, but the part of this property shows up in a map that says it is a potential sinkhole area. And because of that, the planning subcommittee and staff has asked us to do a geo study before moving forward. We are gonna get that done, and that means that we will not be ready to present at the meeting on the 20th. It looks like it'll take until late December to get those results back, which is gonna probably push us into a planning commission meeting in January.
In the meantime, if we want to make our voices known to City Hall, so to speak, where do we go with LFUCG to express our concerns? Seems like they're gonna forge ahead with all this, everybody's spending a lot of money. It's a pretty good turnout for not a lot of notification. I think you'll find out there's gonna be an uproar about this thing once it gets public. Who do we talk to down there about it?
Okay, on the LFUCG planning website, there is a place for public comment. And so you can submit comments to that, and we'll pass it on to the planning commission.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a question.
Just one second. If you have any question.
Mr. Ball, my name is William Burke, everyone calls me Baker, it's my middle name. I've been at this on 2917 Jason Court since 1987. I agree with all the issues about traffic and everything, but I'm one of the few people here that's affected directly as bordering the properties. My property has a 120-foot probably border with these things, and as I look at the plot on this particular map, you literally are putting 3 double townhomes on my border. I've lived the last, how many years that is, 38 years with a beautiful forest in my backyard. And so now I got to look at these monstrosities, is what I call them, 3-story townhouses, just to try to cram more units into a small 3-acre space. I have no issue with you making a profit on this property, none. I wish you all the best. But we want single-family homes.
Absolutely.
You can put 12 single-family homes, 3 in the back of Loretta, and probably 8 or 9 eating into a cul-de-sac on whatever you would call that road, going the other direction. But you're putting 41 townhomes, and you're stacking them so high, they're literally gonna look right down on my property. No fence is gonna make any difference for me, or, my neighbors here. We directly border that property. And I'm very familiar with what's going on with the zoning, because I've watched every meeting online. And there's this one thing I heard that sticks in my craw that bothers me because it was deceptive. I watched the meeting, and there was a man on there talking about the tree situation. They said that the trees were taken down not by the developer, they were taken down by the previous owner. And that's not true, because I talked to Diane while those trees were coming down, and she said that before closing, the developer asked if they could remove all those trees. Now, why would they do that? Why would you do that before closing unless you didn't want the planning commission to know that you had done it before you closed? I mean, it's that. I mean, I saw it and I heard it. I thought, I went back and replayed it because I got it on archive. I thought, did he really say that? And he said, no, the developer didn't cut those trees down. The previous owner did. And I've had 3 trees cut down on that property myself because Diane couldn't afford it. I had 3 Dutch elm disease trees that I took down. But unless you were trying to deceive the planning commission, why would you have said that? And
The trees were taken down before I bought or got involved in the property.
who paid for it?
I didn't pay for it.
They were taken down. They were taken down so you could say,
Who paid for it?
they were taken
We didn't pay
down.
for it. I didn't pay for it.
Who did?
Well, let me
They
ask
came
you,
from the
Diane
state.
didn't pay for it. I can promise you, I talked to her on the phone. She's in
Our state.
she's in a nursing home right now in South Carolina.
What's the date of the project starting? What's your date of taking over?
well, let me ask you something, I got
I
a
mean,
question.
to me, that's the same thing, so that's where I'm
You guys bought the property,
I'd like to hear the answer to that.
excuse me, you guys bought the property with knowing what you wanted to do with your blueprints, the planning, and everything. And your whole deal was, and my question is, really, like Pearl was saying, but really, truly, is the city is gonna hear us, or is the city gonna come your way because all the money that you have already invested in the property and what you're doing? And I wanna know, do you personally, because you're the builder, right?
I'm a builder.
Personally, have, with these concerns and what's going on, what one of my neighbors just said, building all these townhouses that we're gonna look down, and it's gonna change the whole concept of the area, the place that you're building and what we have. But I wanna know, seriously, does that have any concern on you? Or you gonna say, well, if the city said we can do it, we're doing it, bottom line. Because this is what I got envisioned, no matter what nobody else says in this room, so it could be just a waste of time that we're sitting here and confronting giving you our complaints and our concerns, but the bottom line is, already got this already invested, this is what I'm gonna do, and I really don't care what y'all say, because if the city says okay, it's okay. It ain't nothing nobody else can do. Do that affect you in any kind of way?
The city's gonna listen to you.
No, it ain't about what the city says.
What he's asking, plain and simple, can you consider what we're saying?
Are you
Yeah,
going
we
to
consider-
consider what we're asking?
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
I mean, because we have true concern, we have neighbors that are concerned about townhouses looking into their backyard.
Well, that's just like his concern. Already know that I want to do more, plant more trees and do screening. Which one of these is your house?
Mine? 2917. It'll be the second one.
Why did you turn in?
Right within the Jason
lot?
Court.
2917?
Yeah, me and Shelby are gonna have,
Back up to the fence.
Shelby McCuddy are.
Right there?
Yeah.
Are gonna have the biggest board, probably.
This one here is, that's kind of a gap in the trees right through there. And I was already planning on planting more trees and screening and doing something.
I mean, as of right now on my property, sir, there's trees, there's just trees on my fence line. You cut, literally look like the Lorax from Dr. Zeus tree behind it. There's stumps everywhere in the center of that field. You left the ones on my fence line, you know, that give me some type of, I guess, privacy, if you wanna call it that I've been dealing with those things for 38 years, and I'm just used to cutting them. They're still there. Are they coming down? Are you gonna leave them in those people's
We're
backyard?
going to leave every tree we can.
You could, you would have had a harder time getting this done had you presented to the planning commission the lot as it existed before you got involved. Because before you got involved, there were hundreds of trees back there. And you didn't present the planning commission that accurately. And now you're deflecting, saying, well, it was done before we got involved. The truth is, there was some shenanigans going on. You did something, there was some deal made, whether it was the estate or someone came in to cut these trees down, hundreds of trees, so that it would be easier to get this through the planning commission. I'm all in favor. I know Lexington has a housing shortage. I am all in favor of building more homes. And in fact, many of my neighbors probably would like for me to say this. You wouldn't even have to seek a zone change should you put affordable housing back there, right? City planning, or the city council changed that law last year, changed that rule last year. You could put affordable housing back there and not have to do a zone change. But money talks, and that's what this is about.
Yep.
You would be better off, the city would be better off if you put affordable housing back there. I have a neighbor right now who just moved to Northern Kentucky, cannot sell their home. Their home has sat vacant most of this year. They're sitting on 2 mortgages right now. And you want to build 41 townhomes that are tiny, 3-story townhomes, smaller than my neighbor's home, and sell them for starting at $420,000. I don't know how that works. I don't know who would buy that property. But the deception is what I have a problem with.
And it's not good for the
They want to do it, they want to do it at our expense.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't tell me this project is going by the book. It's all under the table stuff all over here. Come on now. So how much you say? How much you say the unit? How much of the unit? Each unit? How much?
And I don't think people are standing in line to buy $400,000 townhomes in this area.
You gotta make people out to you. Three high.
And I echo the affordable homes because, these are not really affordable for the majority of people and certainly will affect our tax base as well. But my two questions are, Lexington doesn't have enough tree canopy as it is, and all of these trees have been removed. But besides clean air and all of that, how are you gonna mitigate the runoff from lots of concrete that these trees have been protecting somewhat in the past?
It already floods in the
Yeah,
back.
it floods in there, and every time it rains hard, you can see a lake in all of those properties.
So how are you gonna deal with that runoff?
Have you told,
We'll let the engineer talk about that. How's that?
In the back of the property, there appears to be an existing detention basin. So it probably is filling up when it rains and it's functioning to do what it's supposed to do. We will also have a detention basin on this property. And it's totally illegal to send water off the property anymore at a faster rate than what is existing. So the stormwater will be taken care of through our detention basin. So and that's just the way the law
Are
is.
you part of Ball, or are you part of the city?
I'm with Vision Engineering.
You with the city?
Engineering, no.
No, sir.
No, you just with Ball.
Yeah,
He's
No.
hired by us.
yeah.
Huh?
He
Yeah,
with Bob.
They hired our.
Oh, right, so you with Ball?
Yeah.
So you with Ball?
Yeah.
So, no, if you hired by Ball,
You with Bob.
you with Ball.
Well, okay.
You with Ball. So whatever.
I don't think he wants to claim me.
No,
I don't mind, but I'm just saying, I don't work directly.
No, but you're working for Ball, right?
Yes.
His company.
So his company is coincide with your company, and you're paying me.
Yes, sir.
So if I'm paying you, you're gonna do, and you got all the questions I need answered. They're trying to throw this all off, because what might seem over here, no, I got an engineer right here, and we can say we're gonna run this off, and we're gonna push that to the side, because that engineer says that. But we already know if it's got a sinkhole and it's already flooded. I just wanna know, when you build these, are you gonna let the people know that's buying them that they sitting on the sinkhole? I just want to know.
Probably not.
Because you're gonna tell me you're gonna build it up. You're gonna build it up. You're gonna make it right. You're gonna fill that
Can we
sinkhole.
let him answer the question, please? Okay. And what Mark was saying at the beginning, that there are city regulations about runoff and when you're doing new construction and what you have to do as far as making sure that runoff doesn't increase.
The city
That
has
we will have to
a
comply.
whole host of people down there, in traffic engineering, building inspection, on and on, engineering, on and on and on. And they scrutinize everything that's on that plan.
Yes, they do.
So they are not gonna let something get by. As far as the potential for a sinkhole, and I say potential because we don't know until we do a geotechnical report. But there are lines on the map that says that this is a potential area. So we'll drill it and we'll know. Right now, we don't know.
Okay, I have another question.
Yes, ma'am.
This lady lives right behind me, and I can't vouch for her, but I don't believe a word about the runoff. Twice now, we have had flooding in our basement because of runoff. What gives me courage to think it's not going to happen again? Because I had to deal with Charles down at City Hall, and it was not a pretty conversation. And I finally got that man, because I put the fear of God into him, that it was going to be fixed. Guess what? We had it twice. So how can I take your word? You just said it will be fixed. How can
No, that's not what I said.
I didn't hear him say that.
That's not what I
He
said.
said you're going to take care of it. Did you
No,
not say
I
that?
did not say that.
No, you did not say
I
that.
said that this development will not cause any more flooding because we will have a detention basin. What's existing, I don't know.
We have a detention base in our properties on Hill Drive that did not stop the flood.
I can't answer about that. I don't know.
What's your detention basin on down? I mean, you're tying into the city sewer?
It's up front here, and it goes into the city sewer on the street. On Clayton.
City sewer?
Yes.
Ain't that all the sewers they've been fixing for 10 years?
They just got fixed, right?
They just got it, they fixed. I thought so. Something was done wrong, they tear back up and they fix it back. So you gonna run some more water down what they just fixed? But it's not.
Go ahead.
Okay, you said that these, townhomes are about 400,000. How many square feet are in the 3 stories that you're intending to build?
Around 1900.
So you're building a 3-story bunch of townhouses where everybody else's are ranches and maybe story and a half. Okay, do you think that's not gonna look pretty stupid? And do you think they'll really wanna buy those townhomes that are going into other people's backyards?
They didn't wanna buy that stuff up on Pasadena, those houses up there. There's still a lot that won't sell because nobody wants their house built on this food.
They're gonna think about it, look like in their pockets.
Why couldn't you buy?
I've got a question for the engineer. About a year ago, I back up to Clay's Mill. And about a year ago, the city sent us a letter that said we had to let their inspector have full access to our property because they had a problem with people, they feared they had a problem with drain water from the rain and runoff going into the sanitary sewer. And when I talked to the guy who came out to do that in that check, he said that they were afraid that they had undersized the sewer. My question is, are you aware of that problem that occurred about a year ago? Do you know the results of that report, and have you figured out or had to do anything to submit your plans with reference to that report? Have you looked at that situation? Has anything from the engineering side been done yet about sewage?
No, sir, we are in a very preliminary stage right now. The report you're talking about, I don't know what you're talking about, but we are at a preliminary stage. As we move through the process, if it moves forward through zoning, then there will be another development plan that will be filed for final.
Well, my question is, I've been through this a time or two, and you don't put a couple of $1 million into a project unless you know that you think you have a traffic flow for the streets, that you think you know have sufficient sewer, that you have water to the property. Are you saying none of that's been done yet?
I can answer part of your question. You were talking about water going into the sanitary sewer system. Back 40, 50 years ago as a builder, if we had a sump pump in a basement, sometimes that would get pumped into the sanitary sewer. And they were probably, that's all changed.
I understand that.
That's probably what they were
I understand
wanting
that
to
that's what they were looking for. My question is, the reason they were looking for that is because the sanitary sewer was backing up. I would assume, since I live uphill from this project and stuff tends to run downhill, that that's gonna be a problem for whoever comes in downhill for me if it was a problem for me. I find it unbelievable that anybody that was putting this kind of money into a project wouldn't have looked into what the sanitary sewer situation is.
You're right.
For 44, probably are these 2 toilet units?
2.5.
2.5, so you got 5 bathrooms, you got 5 toilets in 44 units.
Isn't there currently a septic tank on that property?
Is that correct?
Pardon?
Isn't there currently a septic tank on that property?
I don't know. Steve, you know?
I know. I've seen
There
it.
is collapse.
Collapse? Okay. I tell you what, when I walked through that house, the fleas ate me up and about right there.
So you're talking about adding
Okay,
220 toilets?
Mark, they will have to be hooked up to the city sanitary sewer system, and whatever improvements have to be made in order to accommodate this will have to be made
That is correct.
and required by the city. I think
That is
that's,
correct.
I think that's where we're all
But
getting
let me
to.
ask you something, Mr. Ball. All the money that you have already invested in designing, buying the property, hiring engineers and everything. Now, you know, before you done all this investment, before we even came to this meeting, you know that this land that you bought is suitable to you to build what you have envisioned to build.
That's right.
If not, you would have not invested this kind of money into this property.
That's right.
So you know that there's the loopholes that's already behind the scenes, some of the stuff that we're asking, You already know some of the answers, but you're not gonna answer yet because the city have not yet given you the okay, but the city have already have told you personally, somewhere, yeah, this seemed like it would work. Now I'm gonna throw my money into this because I already got a halfway yes. Now, the city will listen to what, because you have to get the okay from all of these residents in order for it to pass to do anything else. But as somebody says, Ball Home is not wait a minute, it's not just a beginner building.
It's not
Ball
Ball
Home's been around years.
Well,
years.
it's not Ball Homes. That's not Ball Homes, it's Daily Homes.
Okay, but
I am a Ball, but.
But you are a ball, right?
I am.
So if you're a ball, come on, you gonna ball, right? You're a ball, you gonna ball. You're a ball, I can change it to anything. But really, I'm a ball.
That's right.
And the balls already know all the loopholes, already been, like you said, when you first started, you have built all around here. Your Ball Home is not a beginner building.
No.
Ball Home's been around for years and years and years. So Ball Home do not invest into something that they know is not going to work. They know that. They already know that. They hear our concerns. We appreciate that. We appreciate that you came out personally as a builder to hear what we got to say. But as a ball, you already know what the city requires, what they don't require, what we got to do. Yeah, we got to spend some more money, but I also, as a ball now, I'm a businessman. As a ball, let me finish saying. As a ball, I'm a businessman. Okay, I just don't want to build and have my neighbors and everybody mad at me. So how do I do that? So I'm gonna come out. I'm going to hear your concerns. Yeah, I heard you. I've done this. I've done a good job at this because I showed up. I want to hear your concerns. But at the same time, I know what I have to do. Now, I'm just trying to please you. So some things that you might go down on, like you said, you started with 50. You want to do 50. Now you're down to 40. That's 10 houses less. But I'm still doing what I got to do.
Well, if there's a seat over there, maybe less than 41.
Yeah, maybe if it's a
Maybe
seat.
21, I don't know.
Yeah.
But let's still play on doing 21.
That's right.
Is there a backup plan if it doesn't get, is there a backup plan if the zone doesn't get changed?
No. Ain't no backup.
I'm sorry, he doesn't know everything, we're already fired.
Yeah, it ain't no backup plan. It ain't no backup plan.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, my name is Paul Collins. I moved into the neighborhood a few years ago. And one of the things I haven't heard talk about yet is how this affects, there's a handful of us that have smaller children, and it's basically a free range in the neighborhood, and most people probably know them and seen them on their bikes and stuff. My concern as a father is everybody that lives in the neighborhood now more or less understands that. There's a culture to it that, hey, we got kids riding bikes in the street. We got people out, particularly the kids out. You put 41 new homes in there coming through Loretta. I could restrict my kids' range of play. I live on the backside of Nashville. I could restrict that so you can't go past Loretta right now, which you can't go past Clay's Mill. But they got to go past to get on the bus. Who's going to move into these places? They're going to be driving through there with kids on bikes and stuff. I don't know. It just doesn't seem right to me.
It'll be the end of our quiet section.
I mean, I'll be honest. That's one of the reasons I moved. I'm not from here. It's one of the reasons we moved into this place. It was in the city. It was somewhat secluded, and my thought was, there won't be anything more built inside of New Circle Road. I put in 4 offers on houses out on the border of Jessamine. I don't know the name of that subdivision as you go towards the extension, Claysville Extension. And ultimately we settled on in the city. And part of that was that there's not going to be any more new development here. It's already done.
Same reason we chose the area. to
And so
raise
that's
our
just kind of
child.
my comment, it's not a question, there's no question to it, that's just my comment. I guess my question is, how many of these houses are gonna turn into like, I don't know, people losing money on them, so they Airbnb them, or they, like, I mean, I know there's rules in the city on this, I'm not from the city, I don't understand it. I live across the street from the Airbnb, I'm not fundamentally opposed to an Airbnb, but the reality is, it just brings more people. The only people in the neighborhood I'm concerned about is literally the house right across the street from mine. It's gonna get people for football games, basketball games, and, you know, drunk 20-year-olds
I
who
think
are coming
Jeremy
for
could
weddings.
probably answer about the Airbnb regulations, I think.
So there is a regulation that, there's a buffer zone. So if there is an Airbnb in the neighborhood, there can't be one within 600 feet. So there is a separation, so it's not like they're all concentrated in one area. And that's a new regulation, that was, I think last December, if I remember correctly. So,
So we have maybe 2, 3 in the new.
And it would require conditional use.
right, and they do, in any residential zone, they do require conditional use, which is approved or denied by the Board of Adjustment. So it's not like you can just buy a house and start running Airbnb without getting registered, getting approval.
Will the zoning that this changes to allow these townhomes to be rented out?
We don't regulate rental, as far as long term.
So what I'm talking short term. Could you turn one of these townhomes into a B&B? An Airbnb?
Yes, so you have to get.
So would that same 600 feet apply to the townhome? If the first one gets it and the guy next door also do it? Does that change because of the zoning?
No. So the 600-foot buffer is any property inside the urban service area and any property outside is a mile.
Is this gonna be the urban service area? Because where we are on Jason Court is not urban service area either. Is this new? Is this new one gonna be?
That's all.
That's all in with them.
So these new people are gonna get services that I don't get, even though I've been here for, 30 years.
No, your property is within the urban service area.
It is not, because I don't get urban trash. I don't get city garbage.
You have a lower tax rate, a property tax rate than somebody that gets.
I don't care who I'm paying, the problem is I'm not getting the service.
I guess my question also is, like, where does the school bus stop fee for 41? It's, I mean, most likely, move into, we just have a place, it's gonna be younger people, my guess. Like, you're not gonna be 75 and say, hey, I'm gonna move into a $400,000. It's gonna be people in more my demographic or younger, who have kids.
I think that's up to the school board.
I mean, like, it's,
These
you
are all
know, maybe I should run for school
causing
board.
problems
And,
for.
save that solve.
So once you guys are done building your property and supposedly selling it for $400,000 or whatever you supposedly think you're gonna get, you're done, and we're the ones that have to deal with what's left behind. You're talking about, there's gonna be 2 separate school buses then that have to happen, or there's gonna be how many school buses that have to come, because how many schools are on Clays Mill? Did you guys right, that's 4 schools on Clays Mill, within a mile radius. So, this is all stuff that studies should be done by you as the builder, in my personal opinion. If I was a city, I'd be like, well, I would like to know how this is gonna affect traffic. Maybe y'all should have to do a study for that. If you have to look at a sinkhole, maybe look how traffic, you're saying no one's gonna go down Loretta. If you make that the ability for people to go down that, you're saying no one's gonna go down that?
I didn't,
School route, school bus route?
I said I don't see why they would want to go down Loretta when they could go straight out.
Because they don't go turn left.
I can see some of the people on Loretta coming out this way too. I think it'd be great.
I think you can take the loss from
Is
this.
somebody else?
I'm okay with taking the loss.
Go through Loretta, White Oaks, and exactly.
Is there a legal requirement?
You just said, go over Loretta, we call it with
Ask city.
I mean, we do require connectivity. And we also require a second entrance when the neighborhood exceeds 100 units. So I think it's at 93 or 98 right now.
So let's keep it where it is. All in favor, aye.
If there's a lot of houses, new developments, and all of that, new one on Pasadena and Stone Road, that was, is that your, did you build those, or?
No, I didn't build
Did you
it.
build the one that Clay Mill backs up Vale Ward? That's one way in, one way out. There's like 20 units there. It's the same thing.
Well, in order to be approved, once they exceed.
It's in the neighborhood though. But in the neighborhood, that's behind, those townhomes are back there. There's only one way, my friends live there. One way in, one way out.
So if they don't get the cut through approved, they don't get the project approved, what's the procedure for deciding whether or not that traffic cut through is approved? Is that zoning, or is that traffic, or?
So in the process of approving the zoning, traffic engineering will have to sign off on a final plan. So if traffic engineering doesn't sign off on a final plan, it doesn't get built.
Who do we contact in traffic engineering to express our concerns about that?
They have on their website, they've got a phone number, and an email address, and you can send comments.
It is true that the developer is seeking a waiver from the city, right, about the entrance to this neighborhood. Can you explain that?
Yeah, are you gonna talk about the waivers?
Yeah, there is a certain distance that you have to have between, and in this case, I think it's, you're looking at it, excuse me, as an arterial on Clays Mill, but it functions more like a collector. There's many drives that come into it, excuse me, many drives that come into it. So we don't think that it's any different than what's happening now.
Except for the 84 cars.
You have a certain spacing, and now you have many drives that come on the Clays Mill, many streets that come on the Clays Mill that don't meet that distance already.
But just because something's grandfathered doesn't mean you get all the
Yes.
But the rule exists for a reason, and you guys are asking for a waiver. Yes?
We are asking for a waiver.
Yes, yeah, they are.
Yes, sir.
I got a question for the city out there. What was it you said about how many units it took to have one way in, one way out?
Once the number of units exceeds 100,
Okay,
EMS.
he's going to build 42? Then if you don't connect Loretta, they fall in being able one way in, one way out.
Well, the city requires the roads to be connected though, so to allow different routes. If there's a crash at one of the intersections, then they can use a different route in and out.
So what do you mean?
So we give them 3 entrances. How do you get 2 out of 3?
I'm sorry?
Well, you got Loretta one way, that's 1. You got Loretta the other way, that's 2. You got Clays Mill, that's 3.
There's just two, there would be 2 entrances on the Clays Mill.
There's 1 entrance on the Clays Mill.
Right.
2 entrances when you go either way on Loretta. So there's no way for that to get blocked. You're calling your private drive a street, in effect.
I'm not sure about the private drive. I don't know.
Well, is that a street now? Did I drive before this happened? Could I turn left off of Clays Mill and drive all the way to Loretta? No. So the Clays Mill becomes 1 exit. Loretta to the right becomes a 2nd exit. Why do we have to cut through on this side? Well, see, I don't understand the necessity for that.
I'm gonna ask another question. You all have heard the concerns of all these wonderful neighbors, and I'm fortunate enough to know a lot of them. They're good people.
They are good people.
They're very good people. You've heard them express the concerns about the entrances and the exits and the roads and the traffic on Loretta, the entrances and exits to get out of our subdivision. 41 houses, 82 more cars. Crappy 3-story houses. You've heard our concerns about that. Why in the devil can't you all be as good a neighbor as these people here? Listen to us. How much money do you need in your checking account? Why can't you settle? I mean, God, it's not the money that's going to get you to heaven. It's what you do. And why
To the least
can't
of
you
these.
limit it to 15, that's 5, 10, and 15 houses, ranch style, maybe a basement, a 2-car garage, which would serve affordable housing, be kind to these neighbors, and still have a gob of money in your bank account. Probably more than all of us put together. And show the decency of being a good human being and a good neighbor to our subdivision. I don't understand that, and I still haven't gotten an answer from you about living in our neighborhood. I don't want a shake of the head.
What do you want to know?
I want to know, you're doing this crap for all of these people here and another 100 people who haven't shown up. There's 99 houses in Ridgewood. This is only a portion of them, and not all of them come from Ridgewood. You see what you're doing here to our neighborhood. You see what's being done. God almighty, I wouldn't buy that house if it was given to me. But that's my personal opinion. Would you go into our neighborhood and buy a house there knowing this is the stuff that's coming up next year?
I think they're beautiful, and I would buy one.
You would. And you would be part of the
If I had
problem.
$400,000.
Yeah, right. How many others people in Lexington have $400,000 to spend on a house? Do you know the economy is tanking? I don't understand. I'm a widow. I have a limited number of money in my checkbook. But how much is so much you can't be kind to people? I want to know
You're
that.
talking to a businessman, Colonel.
I know.
I know, they're all about money. But the other thing is that those townhouses are getting freaking ugly. Why do they have to be so many? Can't they just be 2 stories, not 3, with a double garage, which would cut down on the cars parked on the street? I mean, that is ridiculous for that little area. Absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, they just need to be more affordable for the people that are gonna be buying houses. Like, I have a 26-year-old daughter, she wants to buy a house. Next year, that's not what a school teacher in Fayette County can afford. It's not.
We go less density, those will be more expensive.
I mean, sir, my map says you paid $950 for the lot, and you want a 420 for 41 units, that's $17 million.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that, you know, the profit margin is not $17 million, but you just need
They need to change the
fewer
style that they put in
townhouses. I
there.
mean, just fewer townhouses or single-family homes, and I think most of us would be okay.
There we go.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
40
If you
homes.
wanna build some houses back
Build some
there.
houses back there.
Yeah.
You still make money without having to go 41. I mean, it's just, I think they're hideous, you know, and that's just me. I mean, you know, I like a house. But I just can't imagine someone paying 420. I just can't. The house next door to me has it sold. It's a beautiful 2-story colonial, 430, didn't sell. How in the world is that going to sell for 420? I think you're going to be selling for 300,
If that.
if that.
They're not this.
They're ugly.
I do have a question here.
Hey, Mr. Ball, they saying they won't sell. Mr. Ball says, I'm building them, and they will sell.
This young gentleman here has a question.
Go ahead,
How long
please.
is it taking you, is it gonna take you to build 41 townhomes?
1 year.
Wow.
1 year.
How many floors on in there?
1 year.
Jackhammering.
How many of them are sold already?
I haven't sold, I haven't tried to put it for sale yet.
They don't
How
sell.
many of these projects get shot down because of public input? Mr. Ball, how many of your projects?
I haven't done any for a
Each
while.
development's different, so it's hard to compare, it's not exactly apples to apples. You know.
It's not even 50%.
Is it more likely to get declined
I can
because of
answer it as an
technicality
engineer
or because
who
of
does
public
this.
output?
I can answer as
Well, I
as
mean, if a proposal meets the regulations, I mean, the city opens itself up to a lawsuit if we don't approve it because it's an arbitrary decision. So if it follows the regulations, then more than likely it would be approved.
Despite what's heard here.
Yes.
Then why do we have zoning laws in the first place?
So you give us the engineering.
It has to be changed.
I've seen
The city's the only people who can change it.
That's all back.
Why not zoning?
They put this amount of money into it only to get shut down.
Not the ball now.
Then why have zoning laws?
Why have this meeting?
It's changed.
Why have this meeting if it's to do everything they want to do?
It's so that they can follow zoning laws. With all those rules they got to follow.
That's the lady speaking. Again, you're.
Why do we have zoning laws?
I'm gonna refer back to something that was earlier. You said that they can't have a subdivision with only one way in and one way out.
Put a cute note in there, yes.
If going out to Clay's Mill is denied, that is an entire huge subdivision. 91 homes in Bridgeview, 41 in this new place, that's well over 100, one way in and out.
Along with school buses.
If the property is, the sinkhole is there, would they be able, will you be able to build on that? Because there are certain places in Lexington that have sinkholes that cannot be built on. Is that?
I don't know, when we get
I'm
the
not an
report.
engineer,
Till we get the report, it's all a different game, as Jerry Flavor would say.
You know, we do have regulations that severely restrict, sinkhole construction, so.
Right.
It would depend on the results of the test, then you would have to go to the regulations and see what.
Who's doing this?
Do we need to go to the zoning commission meeting next week or not?
It's not next week, it's postponed.
You said there is one.
No, there is one every month. There's one every month.
None of this is gonna be.
We are not going to present at this meeting. It may be on the agenda, it will be postponed. We will ask for it to be postponed, the city will agree.
Would they take comments if they bring it up?
No, it won't be heard at all. There'll be a group that at the beginning, they'll say who's here, who's to be heard and who's to be postponed. We'll be in the group that postponed, and those people go, and the people to be heard will be
So
heard.
will we get a notification that it's not on the agenda, or do we just assume and then not show up, and then something does happen? Will we get a notification in time from the US Post Office that says you are not on
That's
the
always
agenda?
I don't think a second one goes out. Am I wrong about that?
We don't have a second notice, so.
I never got the first notice.
Well, if you're not within 500 feet, then. But that's the way it's gonna be. I don't know. The state law is you only have to notify adjacent neighbors. We notify 500 people.
So is there an agenda that's published on there?
Yes, our website has the agenda.
So we just have to continually check the website to see when you'll next be.
No.
I think, will a new one go out if we postpone? Will it go out?
Agenda?
Yeah, or the new notice to the
New mail.
neighborhood. Do we have to do a new notice if we postpone?
But he said, within 500 feet, that's the only way to
So
go.
everybody won't get the notice. So you just have to check the website. And what we're looking for on the website, what's it gonna say?
There will be a section for planning commission agendas.
And it'll have this company's name?
Yeah, it'll have the property address.
Look for daily owners of the property.
Gotcha.
It's not easy to find.
That's what I was thinking. Help me here. Help me.
They don't make it easy for you.
I didn't think so. I didn't think so.
Can I change the zoning of my house? What's the process? I'm serious, thank you.
Well, you have to submit an application, you have to have a pre-application meeting, and then when you sit down with staff and
Do I
discuss.
invite people next door to me to a meeting like this?
I'm sorry?
Do I invite the people next door to me to a meeting like this and tell them my plans? I mean, this is lucrative. I want to tear my house down. I can make a lot more money.
I can build 5 units on my property.
How much you want for it?
I'll get you right now, $800,000. $800,000 right now. Sign, I'll get you right now. Seriously, no, look, I know that. $800,000. We all could say. I'll go back home.
I know that land shows. Yes, and there are more.
They would have had a harder time. This would have had a harder time. When they saw
Well, if you're changing for
it was a
them,
good court.
changing that
I
road.
know.
So you really wish they were doing well.
No, as far as I know. I would.
So that was whole
If it is the same color.
Is there any chance to come back for new
It has to be, well, my state would probably get right involved. This is all cars drainage through here. Central Kentucky. Yeah.
Yeah, we see if we can make it common ground. You can't make common ground, you go the legal way of doing it. But this biting after each other, screaming and yelling and acting like heathens in a church, this ain't good to me, guys.
It's the record. You're rolling it up.
It's not, I'm part of this.
Let the lady speak.
We've heard a lot of promises tonight, a lot of, well, this happens, this happens.
Why don't we just sell 2916, let them have the whole damn thing go on?
Just let somebody else talk. So anyways, like I said before, we are original owners on Ashley Way. We've been there since December 15th, 1979. It was 6 months before any other houses were built. I still have the original plat. And we were promised that Neil Drive would cut through and we would be coming out on Westerfield Way into Southview. That didn't happen. It was voted down. And so now we're hearing promises. What's our guarantee that it's not gonna happen again?
I'm not, but I'm.
Granted, I know there's properties in the way and all of that, but will you request that Loretta be opened up, extended past our, neighborhood, toward Municipal Road, towards Stone Road?
Our first option is to go to Claysville Road. That's what we want to do. So we didn't even thought about doing.
It's a different property, it's not a district road.
That's not true. When I was down at your all's first meeting, you all said that your intention is to expand to the next property. And that's why this road is teed that way, Loretta is teed that way, is to grant access.
I'm gonna let Jeremy answer that one.
It's a requirement of the subdivision regulations that any property is developed, if there's an undeveloped property next to it, you have to step into it. It's a development requirement.
For what
For future expansion.
So that's why the two are the way they are now.
Yes.
So how long would that take?
As far as when the next property would develop, I wouldn't.
The sub-street refers to?
How long would it take for,
For it to be,
Are you talking about this street right
That's a process of private property right there.
It's up to the gentleman that just lived here.
So I don't know, I just think somebody else makes a piece of
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Will the traffic department
have a public meeting about this so we can attend?
That'll be all part of the
The
planning commission meeting.
Yeah.
They'll be at the same meeting?
Yes,
Planning
everybody.
commission, yes, all of the departments.
So our voices.
January probably.
So our voices, we have made our voices known to you, the building. But the last say-so really is in the city's hands, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's where we need to make our voices known and heard to the city.
That's right.
Because without, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ball, have you bought the church property on Clay's Mill too?
No, we haven't bought anything else.
Nothing else, there's, we've had people coming in our yard and putting surveyor sticks down, so what does that mean?
It's not our.
It's not us.
Is that your project?
Which church property are you talking about?
Calvary Free Methodist.
Right on Clay's Mill, right next to the.
Two properties over from what you bought.
I went there, one day
There's
to,
surveyors
They
staked
staked
it
it
out,
out.
they staked it out on my yard into the church property, so.
I went there one day to try to see about having this meeting there. I drove there, but I didn't see anybody and then talked
This
to
was a
Bill.
couple months ago, I mean, they came in, you know, you've got the, pink ribbons on.
I think probably what was being done is they were doing a boundary survey for this property and they had to go back some points to there. It's nothing to do with the church. It's all just to get
The
survey
road.
done on this property.
So you haven't purchased that, I mean?
No,
That, you don't know what the situation is with the church property?
No, sir.
You talking about this church property?
No, the, right down
Well, just a couple of things I'd like to say. Where in this Fayette County, where do you have a development that is it gonna look like this? Similar.
Like this picture, where did it come from?
This is being built on Liberty Road right now.
This picture here.
Outside the city. I mean,
No, it's inside the city, in Hamburg area, right there, if you're on, Man of War, and you turn on Liberty, and you go past what Cheddar's used to be and Speedway, right there on the
Oh,
right.
okay.
Are those units
I
selling
know
for
exactly.
450,000?
450, yeah.
Okay, so that will be very similar to this. Okay. Number two.
The only thing is, those have decks in the front, and ours, because they don't have any room in the back. If we have a deck, it'll be in the back, for patio.
So number two, what gets me is that there are a lot of very desirable neighborhoods in this town that have one way in and one way out. To me, where I live, that was a very big selling point to me, because there was no through traffic. Okay, we were all in the 60s, '70s, and '80s, raising kids and all that, and it was very desirable. We're still raising kids because no through traffic. One way in and one way out. I think it's an advantage to most people. I think most people, if you ask them, would say, in most situations, they would like that. I think that maybe we're blowing that part out of proportion.
How many
Okay.
houses are in your neighborhood?
He lives right around the corner from you.
You know, and if we're gonna go to the extreme on this development and separating it from our older neighborhood, build a wall.
It's the Lexington Frederick County requirement. It's connected.
Real wall.
If it was up for us, we could have more lots if we didn't have that. Or there.
But you're never gonna get a consensus in this neighborhood about opening up more roads. Okay, we did that years ago when they wanted to open up Neal, okay? Because you're gonna change the neighborhood, to the feel of it, okay?
It's kind of mean.
There's absolutely no doubt about that. When you're gonna create that traffic, you got 102 cars that you're saying there, well, hell, we know it's gonna be 150 or 200, how many trips a day are they gonna make? Okay?
Don't underestimate the people who live in these neighborhoods. This is a buzz.
And on top of that, if you do that, there will have to be some kind of, traffic regulation, management on Clay Mill. Because they come off of that light down there, I lived there a long time, they come off that light down there flying, okay? It's nothing for them to be doing 50, 60 miles an hour when they hit that curve, okay? So, and you're gonna have more traffic pulling, you will absolutely have to commit, the city will, to some kind of traffic control. I don't know exactly what it would be, but if I live on the corner, you sit there and listen to how many crashes I've heard, the way it is, you know. But if you all agree, and one more thing, and I'll shut up, is that in all my years, 42 years, I do not remember in our neighborhood of any, major accidents, kids getting hit or anything like that. In fact, it's been totally the opposite as far as I can see. Okay, we have a very, very nice mixed neighborhood of older people like me. We have younger people. We have it's almost exactly what you would want. Okay, and we would hate to disturb that. We know what the city's doing. The city's looking at infill. They want to infill everything they can so they can say they're creating more properties and density and all that. We know what they're wanting to do. Okay. And on top of that, there's a lot of tax revenue. I mean, you're gonna go from one guy paying taxes to however many, 42 or whatever, huge amount of difference here on the revenue the city is gonna collect. Okay, so, I'll shut up and you guys can do.
So I appreciate your input. Is there any other questions?
I just want to clarify, with the notice that we got for this meeting, and then the one that we got a couple of weeks ago about going to the meeting downtown, we're not gonna get another notice. But you all are saying you're not going to.
The reason
meeting
you're-
on the 20th.
We're not going, we're postponing it.
Okay, and then the next meeting will be one day in December. correct?
January probably is.
The city has a calendar. The planning commission meets every second and fourth Tuesday or Thursday of the month. That gets a little different during February or November and December with the holidays, but it will. Once we get the geotech, we will be able to go forward to the meeting on
And it
that.
has to be on their agenda.
It will be on their agenda for that next week when we're ready to go, yeah. And it may be on there, but it'll be
Will
postponed.
that be open to the public, like this meeting, questions?
Yes, yeah, the planning commission is open to the public. Everyone will be allowed to sign at the beginning, everyone's allowed to speak. I think there's a 3-minute limit for every
So
individual.
how much notice are you giving them that you want to be on the agenda, since it's gonna be on the back road?
Jeremy, I mean, you do that. We're going to continue to be on the agenda, we're just gonna be in
So
the
it'll always
post.
be there, so you can go at any time.
We're gonna be on the postpone section.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you postpone the one that's coming up, you could be at the next one, or the next one, whenever you all get your information that you're
Correct.
ready.
Can you change your mind and unpostpone?
Uh,
What if the report comes back in 10 days?
it
And you
won't.
told all of us you weren't gonna be there, and then you show up.
But that also, there's state laws that require a certain amount of notification, so what we have to do is advertise in the paper, we have to put it on our website. We have to post signs at the property.
So you have to post another sign on the road?
I'm sorry.
Will be another sign on the road?
I couldn't hear you, I'm sorry.
The burden goes back on us, then.
Yes.
That's not right.
Well, you know, that's, the state, we follow the state law and the notification requirements.
Still not
I
right.
want to go back
So
to the
if it's,
zoning
once it's
question.
posted, it can't be changed? So if I remember, do I have to go and look every day to see if they've been added?
No, it's a monthly, so it's a monthly meeting, so it would only be, theoretically once a month. We have to-
So let's say if it's, say it's scheduled for next Tuesday, that's already posted up and nothing will be added to the meeting or taken away from the meeting at this point?
Correct. So what's on the agenda now will stay on the agenda, and even if 2 or 3 of them are postponed, they'll still be on the agenda. So they'll be addressed in some way or another. In this case, they're gonna request a postponement, and more than likely the planning commission will agree, and then it will be postponed for a month. So we'll go to next month's meeting, which is December 18th. Yes.
And the planning commission's recommended postponement too. We're not,
Yeah, the staff and the subcommittees all also recommended this.
You can call the office, and if we have advance notification of it, so we can let you know, but the best way to do it is just to simply, it's gotta be a month.
So if we call the office and ask to speak to someone about this, what is the official title of this request?
You can just request the 2914 Clays Mill zone change, and then that's sufficient information we need.
They're very nice answering the phone. If you all have any questions, call the planning commission phone number, and they will answer your questions. They make phones very, very nice. So if I would call before I would wonder.
Yeah, we answer questions like that every day, so you're not bothering us or anything like that, so you can certainly call the information. Yes, sir.
I want to go back to this zoning. You said earlier that as long as they met whatever requirements, whatever, you can't make an arbitrary decision, you have to move forward with the project. Does that mean that if someone presents, I don't know, some plan for anything that meets the zoning, how does it, are you talking about move forward with the zoning change? Is that what we're talking about?
So
Like,
in order to be granted
that
a
doesn't
zone
seem-
change, the proposal and the location of the property has to be in compliance with the comprehensive plan. So that's where you have to make an argument to request the zone change. You have to demonstrate comprehensive plan compliance. So that's the main, justification for a zone change is compliance with the comprehensive plan.
What is the comprehensive plan for that property?
Well, the comprehensive plan is for the city, it's for the entire city.
Okay, but what is that zone now? Single family?
It is R1B, I believe, which is single family, yes.
How small could those be broken down if they were single family? Is there any limit to the size? I know in some counties, you're not allowed to subdivide a property.
Currently, and don't quote me on this, but I think R1B is 15,000 square feet. I'm not certain though, but on the dimensions, I always have to.
But there is.
Yes, every zone has a minimum lot size, yes.
A minimum lot.
Yes.
So my question also is, if he had decided he wanted to do a plan with a 4-story townhome with 70 units, okay? Let's just, he gets to decide how many, if it meets the plan or meets it's okay if the zone, even if it's a ridiculous plan, I mean, if it's, because I think 3 stories high is kind of ridiculous. 4-story would be ridiculous, but would you all approve it anyway if it met the criteria? I mean,
That's part of the zone change, so you have to request a certain zone, and then, staff knows what the limitations of those zones are. So there's a maximum height you can build in an R1, or, R1B has a certain height, R1C has a different height. It may or may not, but theoretically they can change.
Does the architectural review board get involved in that?
No, they only do,
Retro.
well, for historic properties. So, R2 has a certain height, R4 has, even higher height. R5 is no limit on height. So, each zone has its own dimensions.
I'm just trying to figure out how they came up with 41. I mean, to me, it's just an arbitrary.
It was the most
It's
they
just
did.
literally just stacking as much as you can stack a 3-acre tract of land to get as much profit as you can. And the city says, oh, if it meets the requirements, that's okay. But
Exactly right.
it seems to me like we just need a normal 2-story townhome or single-family units. And I think most of us wouldn't care that much if they were just normal-looking, smaller amount, reduced amount of traffic. But it just seems like a ridiculous number. 41 seems so ridiculous for.
How did you come up with 41, Mr.?
Why not get many? Why not
Get on the property.
How did you
That's how
come
many
up
would
with
fit.
that? Did you measure it out? Did you measure it out? Did you measure it out and see how many? Because they asked it about the square footage. So on 3 acres, how many would you get on a 3 acre land, right?
Well, there's a certain house size, and then on top of the house, you have side yard
Right.
requirements, front yard, rear yard requirements. So
Yeah.
you have to look at the whole, we know where the streets are gonna be,
Right.
because the city's making us take this through.
Right,
This seems like a better option than putting a
Right.
cul-de-sac here and running
Right.
everybody back through the
right
road.
there, right.
So if when you look from here to here and, you know, how can you fit what you're trying to do in that area, and that's how you end up.
So that's how you came up with it, it's not about the quality, it was about the quantity. How many can you get?
It's about the regulations and the.
Yes, yes, okay, that's what I'm talking about. So we understand as a businessman, we're gonna get all we can get. But the city, I'm saying, we're wasting a lot of time. We're getting the information, but the bottom line is our voices must be heard by the city. Because see, I've had a lot of zone changing in different properties that I have acquired in business. And you have to take that before the zoning, and once you can take that before the zoning, it all depends on what the people say. So your voice does mean a whole lot. But as we're trying to find out now, we want to make sure that when that next meeting comes up, that more of us could be there to voice our opinion, because the less people there, the easier it passes. But with the voices not say that, the city does take that all into consideration. So he has to go through the zoning, he has to hear from the people to say yay and nay. And most likely, they'll say what the people say. They might go along with what we say, but it all depends on, in this time and stage, let's be real, what we say out of here and what you say out of here means a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? But we ought to just give our hats off to Mr. Bald. What's your name?
Jimmy.
Huh?
Jimmy.
Jimmy? Jimmy. Jimmy. Okay, we ought to just give our hats because he did come in here. But he knows that what he says now, and the architect, they know, and the young lady, they know, we hear it, but they only gonna take, they not gonna take this really back to the city. We have to stand up in front of the city and speak what we got to say.
Yeah, that's right.
And that makes a difference.
We need to organize better.
Yes,
In our
you need
neighborhood,
to,
we
and
need
they
some
are
help to
saying,
know.
we are asking the right questions. How will we know when is the zoning meeting, when is the next meeting? Because that's the most important meeting that we gotta go to.
Didn't the neighbors stop a similar project up next to the school?
Jesse Clark,
Big gate is next to
Yeah.
Jesse
the
Clark.
horse house, yeah, they were trying to do.
Was that involved thing? Was you involved in that?
But they stipulated in the closing that if they couldn't do it, that they wouldn't buy the property. See, the property wasn't sold, and that's why they pushed out.
And
See, this property was sold.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
Part of my job here.
but what I'm saying is that,
Relay your concerns to the planning commission, and so that's part of my role. I'm doing it.
Hold the feet to the fire.
We're not, I mean, we're not here to be facial favors now.
that's what that's about.
I know the situation that the neighborhood bandits, I have a friend that lives in We know Stonewall is a very influential neighborhood. They have a very active homeowners association. That, there was townhouses proposed for the end of, what's that street, Chan Cornwall?
Higby Mill.
No, Cornwall, Higby Mill, yeah. The neighborhood fought it, the association got in on it. That's a huge neighborhood down there. They didn't get a thing.
Then they get an attorney
They
involved.
got an attorney, everything, the townhouses are sitting there.
Yeah.
Is it possible?
And so what we need, that, I think somebody said there was a president of Open Gate. Yeah, okay, what we need is someone that's gonna be able to organize and stay on top of what's going on, so this doesn't come under the radar. And if it comes from under the radar, all what we said fails, because if they don't, city don't hear nothing, it's going straight, it's done, stamp it, it's
Well,
done.
he said they'll put it on that poster thing out in front of the property.
Yes, we will post a sign on the
The
property.
sign.
Yeah, okay, but
So,
that's.
I was talking about dog there. And read that sign.
So-
And then, yeah, then you take it out of that driveway. Don't pull into that driveway, then get down that
So
driveway.
what I'm saying is that we ought to just take our head off to them for coming to listen, to inform us that we have to do this to city.
One thing I need to say is, this plan is still evolving.
Right.
I mean, this isn't set in stone yet. It's evolving. If we take it,
Yeah.